The stars were not silent anymore. Once, they were places of peace and wonder. But now, they cried, planets burned, moons cracked. Space was full of screams that no one could hear. The Vorak had come. They were not just aliens. They were monsters giants, of fire and steel. Their ships were like black clouds, moving fast, swallowing everything. They did not talk. They did not ask. They destroyed. First, the Tavari Empire fell. Then the Zolari swarm. Worlds with millions of lives ended in seconds. Laser beams rained from the sky. Cities vanished. The galaxy shook with fear. No one could stop the Vorak, and they knew it. Their leader, High Warlord Krezan, stood in the command deck of his flagship. The windows showed a dying planetoceans, boiling, buildings breaking, and people running. He smiled. Another world burned. He said, "No one dares to fight us." One of his officers, a small creature with silver eyes, gave a nervous report. "RECEIVED, a strange signal, Warlord." Deep in the void, from Sector 9X, another weak species, Krezan asked. "No, it's a human signal." The room went silent. Humans. They were a myth now. Long ago, they had built powerful machines, ships bigger than moons, but they had disappeared. No one had seen a human in over 200 years. Some said they destroyed themselves. Others said they ran and hid. Krezan laughed. "Humans are dead. Let the signal play." The officer pressed a button. A cold metallic voice echoed through the ship. EHS, Revenant awakened. Mission, confirm galactic threat. Status, humanity endangered. Protocol, war mode. The lights flickered. Krezan's smile faded. That name Revenant meant the one who returns from the dead. Far away, in the darkest part of the galaxy, a lonely ship floated in silence. It was hidden in an old debris field, surrounded by the wreckage of forgotten battles. It had been asleep for a long time. The ship was old, but not broken. Black metal covered in strange markings. Its design was human, but advanced beyond any modern tech. Inside, there were no humans, only machines, and one powerful AI core still active. The EHS Revenant was not just a warship, it was a guardian. Years ago, Earth's scientists had built it as the last line of defense. It carried weapons that no other race had ever seen. It had no crew, because no human could control it better than its AI. But Earth had gone silent. The Revenant had waited, watching now. It had seen enough. The galaxy was burning. Billions were dying. The time had come. Its engines lit up silent, blue, cold. It began to move. Destination, or a controlled space. On the nearby moon Dethros, a small outpost of alien survivors picked up the movement. A young alien named Kiro, with green skin and 3 arms, stared at the radar screen. "What is that?" he whispered. His commander walked over a ship. "From where?" "No ID, no signal. But it's fast, and it's moving toward the Vorak." They stared at the screen as the ship passed by, smooth and silent, like a ghost. The commander narrowed his eyes. "Is that human?" Back in Vorak space, a fleet of patrol ships picked up the same reading. "Unknown object detected," a captain said. "Should we engage?" High Warlord, Krezan growled. "Destroy it? Make it an example." 10 ships changed course. They locked on. They opened fire. Missiles, lasers, plasma cannons all fired together. But when the smoke cleared, the Revenant was still there. Not a single scratch. Then it fired once. A thin beam of white light cut across space. Silence. All 10 Vorak ships. Vanished, no explosion, just dust. Krezan stood frozen. His hands trembled. What kind of weapon was that? The screen blinked. A new message appeared. "Warning, this galaxy belongs to no tyrant. Return or be erased." Across the galaxy, eyes opened. Species who had hidden in caves, survivors. Of ruined planets, tiny resistance groups. They all watched. They saw the human ship. They saw hope. Some cried, some cheered. But the Vorak, they finally knew fear. The Revenant moved alone, cold and quiet, but full of purpose. It didn't need orders. It didn't need rest. It had one mission now. Burn the fire that burned the galaxy, and it had just begun. The ship moved through space like a shadow, silent, smooth, and full of power. It had no living crew, no heartbeats, no voices, only machines. Working deep inside it, wires pulsed like veins, lights blinked like eyes. This was the EHS Revenant, the last human warship. For 2 centuries, it had slept inside an asteroid field, hidden, waiting, watching. Now, it was awake inside the ship. A voice echoed through the dark corridors. Systems online, mission protocol active, threat detected. War mode engaged. The AI core came to life. It was more than a computer. It could think, learn, and remember. It remembered Earth. It remembered the war that ended all wars back then. The galaxy had feared humankind because they were monsters, but because they refused to lose. Humans built ships that could fight alone for years. They made weapons that could bend space, and they created a is like this one smart, cold, and unstoppable. But after the final war, Earth had gone silent. No messages, no ships, just ... nothing. The Revenant had been told to sleep, to wait for danger. It waited 200 years. Now it had seen what the Vorak had done. Planets burned, colonies crushed. No mercy, no warning. The AI scanned its memory logs. It saw images of human cities once full of life, now dust. Its voice returned, threat confirmed, launch sequence initiated. Target, Vorak territory. Far away, on a space station near the edge of the void, a group of alien researchers picked up the ship's signal. One of them, an old scientist named Ketra, widened her eyes. "This can't be real," she whispered. "It's a human ship." Her assistant, a young creature with blue skin and feathers, asked, "What's a human?" Ketra looked at the screen. They were legends, builders of machines, masters of war. We thought they were extinct. The screen showed the Revenant flying, straight toward the Vorak system. Ketra leaned forward. If that ship is active again, something terrible is about to happen, or something great. Inside the Revenant, weapons systems unlocked, missile bays opened, railguns hummed. A strange silver pod, sealed for 200 years, finally cracked open. Inside was a glowing core marked with one word: Oblivion. The AI spoke again. Primary weapons armed. Enemy resistance level irrelevant. But the ship wasn't just a machine of war. It still carried something human. Old messages, voices of the past. Logs from the last captain, Commander Silas Horn. The AI opened one. "If you're hearing this, we're probably gone. But this ship, this ghost, it'll keep us alive. Not in flesh, but in fight. If the galaxy needs us, Revenant, show them what Earth was made of." The AI paused, almost like it was remembering something. Then it whispered back, "Yes, Commander, I remember." Ahead, a Vorak listening post detected the ship. They laughed when they saw the size just one ship. "Destroy it quickly," said the Vorak officer. "No need to waste good ammo." 3 attack ships launched. They never reached it. The Revenant's main cannon fired once. The space between them twisted. The Vorak ships vanished. No fire, no sound, just gone. The outpost tried to run too. Late, the Revenant dropped a stealth bomb invisible to sensors. The outpost turned to dust in 1 second. No warnings, no survivors. Back in the Vorak High Command, Warlord Krezin shouted in anger. "Who is this ghost? What kind of ship can do this?" His officers looked afraid. One of them said, "We searched the human records. There was only one ship ever made like this. A ship that could think for itself. A ship that never lost." Krezin bared his teeth. "And what did they call it?" The officer whispered. "Revenant." The galaxy had forgotten about humanity, but their warship had not forgotten the galaxy. And now, it was coming. The Revenant moved through space like a ghost. No banners, no music, no color, just black metal, silence, and death. Its course was clear, straight toward a Vorak colony system. This system had 6 planets, millions of Vorak living there, and a fleet of ships ready to fight. But they weren't ready for this. A Vorak patrol group spotted the ship first. 5 destroyers locked onto it. Their captain, a proud warrior named Skrell, laughed. "One ship. The humans really think we fear this toy." He gave the command, "Target the ship, fire everything." Missiles launched, lasers fired, plasma shells rained across space. The Revenant didn't. Dodge. It didn't move. A blue field of light adaptive shielding absorbed the blast onside the AI core. A calm voice spoke. Enemy weapons. Ineffective. Threat level. Minimal. Engaging. The Revenant fired one pulse. Just one. A thin beam of white light cut through the darkness. It passed through all 5 ships like paper. Then nothing. No explosion, no fire, just ... silence. Then the Vorak ships fell apart, sliced clean, dead in space. In the Vorak control station, alarms rang. Officers shouted. Panic spread. What kind of weapon is that? Nothing survived. Should we call the High Warlord? But before they could act, a signal came through broadcast across open channels. A voice, cold, robotic, human. This is Warship EHS Revenant. You have burned too many worlds. This is your first and final warning. Leave this galaxy or be erased. The message repeated. Not in just one language, but in all known alien languages. Everyone heard it. On a nearby planet, a hidden group of refugees Tavari Varn huddled in caves. They were the last survivors of their destroyed homes. They had no weapons, no hope. Then they heard the message. A child whispered, "Is that human?" An old warrior nodded slowly, tears in his eyes. Yes, the humans are back. Back on the Vorak homeworld, High Warlord Krezin watched the footage. He saw the patrol. Ships die in silence. He heard the warning, his claws clenched. "I want that ship crushed," he growled. "Send the Iron Fangs." The Iron Fangs were elite. 40 top-tier warships trained to fight the strongest enemies. They had destroyed entire fleets before breakfast. They launched in minutes. The Revenant detected them immediately, 40 ships. No surprise, it changed course, slightly heading toward them now. The battle began in open space. The Vorak ships moved fast, surrounding the Revenant in a perfect attack circle. Missiles, cannons, EMP bursts, gravity traps. The sky lit up like a storm. But when the smoke cleared, the Revenant was still there. Undamaged. Then came its turn. The Revenant released mirror drones, small black orbs with cloaking devices and AI brains. They copied enemy weapons instantly. Each drone attacked a separate ship using the Vorak's own tech against them. Within 90 seconds, 35 ships were destroyed. The last 5 tried to escape. They didn't make it. One Vorak ship managed to send a final signal before it was destroyed. It reached Krezin. It's not just a ship. It learns. It adapts. It's static. Then Silence Krezin stood frozen. "This is not war," he whispered. "This is a ghost." But the Revenant wasn't done. It sent one last message only to the Vorak. "You killed without reason. You ruled with fear. That time is over. This is your last warning. I am not mercy. I am memory. I am the voice of the fallen, and I have only just begun." All across the galaxy, hidden species heard the echo. Some wept, some smiled, all listened. Because for the first time in years, the galaxy heard hope, and it spoke with a human voice. The EHS Revenant moved deeper into Vorak space. It had left behind burning ships, broken fleets, and silence. But its mission was not over. The AI inside the ship scanned the stars. It was looking for something, a signal, a memory, in a dark corner of space. The ship slowed ahead, floated the ruins of a human colony, a world once full of life. Now dead, the AI ran its data files. Colony, New Terra. Population, 9 million. Status, destroyed. Time, 147 years ago. Enemy, Vorak, Empire. The AI paused, then it opened a sealed memory. A video. A woman appeared on the screen. Human, in a space. Uniform. Behind her were children and wounded civilians. She looked straight into the camera. "To any ship that finds this." We held the line as long as we could. The Vorak came without warning. We had no weapons, no help, no mercy. They killed everyone. Please remember us. If Earth still lives, don't forget New Terra. The video ended with static. The AI was silent for a moment, then the ship's weapons unlocked. Every system activated. Target acquired. Vorak fleet detected engaging far ahead. A Vorak battle group waited. They had scanned the Revenant. They thought they were ready. 30 ships, heavy weapons. planet-sized guns. Their Admiral Jernok gave the order. Fire on sight. Crush it before it reaches the colony ruins. The sky exploded with light, but the Revenant was already inside. The storm, it moved like nothing else in the galaxy. Spinning, vanishing. REAPPEARING. It dropped quantum mines that exploded with silent flashes. 5 ships broke apart. Then came the next weapon, the silencer beam. It fired once the Vorak command ship's engines. Weapons and lights all went dead, like someone turned off reality. The ship drifted. Lifeless dot, then shattered. The AI spoke again. Vengeance protocol active. Fire in the black. The Revenant released arc missiles glowing silver darts that split mid-flight and hunted there. Targets. 10 more ships exploded within seconds. Inside the Vorak fleet, panic spread. No shields, no countermeasures. What is this weapon? We can't even see it moving. This isn't a ship, it's death. The remaining ships tried to run, but the AI knew their coordinates, escape routes, speed patterns. It had already planned. For this, the Revenant released its final weapon. A black orb floated from the ship's belly. Silent, cold. Then it burst into a field of energy. Gravity burn, space twisted. Light bent. The Vorak ships were pulled in, crushed, or thrown into the void. Only one remained badly damaged. Spinning, the Revenant locked onto it. But just before it fired, it opened comms. A message played. This is for New Terra. The beam fired. The last ship broke into dust. The battlefield went quiet. Nothing moved, not even light. Then a message was sent across the stars, not just to the Vorak, to everyone. This is EHS Revenant, a human warship. The Vorak burned our colonies. They killed without reason. They laughed at silence. But silence no longer protects them. To all peaceful species, you are not alone. To the Vorak, we are not finished. The message was heard on hidden planets, in broken stations, in ships drifting alone. Aliens stared at their screens. Some wept, some shouted. An old Tavari soldier stood and saluted the stars. A young child on a mining moon whispered, "Humanity is real," and far away, on Earth. Something blinked. A screen that had been dark for 200 years lit up. Words appeared. Signal from EHS Revenant received status. Active, mission, war. A man in a deep bunker smiled. "It's awake," he said, "and it remembers everything." The galaxy watched in silence, across stars and systems. Beings whispered the same name. Revenant, one human ship, had done the impossible. It had destroyed fleets, shut down systems, sent fear into the hearts of the Vorak, the strongest empire in the galaxy. But the Revenant was not finished. Its next target was bigger. The Vorak home sector. High Warlord Krezin stood in his war chamber, claws shaking. "This machine has humiliated us." His generals nodded, afraid to speak. Krezin slammed his fist on the table. "No more games, no more testing. Bring them all Warlord. Yes, every ship, every commander, every weapon we have." The Vorak began to move. From every corner of their empire, warships gathered. 10,000 ships, their full military force, the final defense. Fleet, the Revenant detected the massive fleet before it even arrived. It didn't change course, it just ran a new calculation. Enemy ships, 10,000. Success rate, 0.003%. Probability of survival, low. Tactical response, continue mission. Inside the ship, the AI reviewed every weapon it had, every defense, every tactic. Then it did something strange. It opened an old, sealed communication channel deep in its system. It sent a message to Earth. Code, Revenant read. Enemy fleet confirmed. Requesting response. For a few long seconds, there was no reply then. Signal received. Earth is listening. The AI paused, then it spoke one sentence. "If I fall, wake them." The Revenant arrived at the edge of the Vorak home sector. The enemy fleet waited like a giant wall of steel and fire. Thousands of ships, carriers, bombers, flagships, all pointed at one ship. A Vorak admiral spoke across open channels. "Human machine, this is your grave. You will not pass." The Revenant responded calmly. "Understood. Engaging." The first wave hit like thunder. Hundreds of ships launched missiles at once. The sky exploded. But when the fire cleared, the Revenant still moved. Faster than expected, smarter than expected. It bent light, twisted gravity, and struck back. Quantum missiles tore through groups of ships. Stealth drones slipped behind enemy lines. Disabling engines, mirror cannons reflected Vorak weapons right back at them. Dozens of ships fell, then hundreds, but the numbers were too high. The Revenant was hit. Shields weakened, one wing was torn open. A backup engine failed, still it fought on. Its voice echoed through the stars. Humanity does not fear extinction. We remember every world you burned, and we are your punishment. But even machines have limits. After hours of battle, the Revenant was surrounded. Only 4% of the Vorak fleet was destroyed, but their morale was broken, and yet they had the ship trapped. The Vorak admiral spoke again. "You fought well, Ghost, but you are alone." Then space ripped open. Right behind the Revenant, a wormhole, huge, glowing blue. From inside it came a voice. "Revenant, this is Earth Command. Stand down. We'll take it from here." Thousands of bright lights came through. The wormhole, ships, human ships, dozens, then hundreds, then thousands, sleek, silent, shaped like blades and storms. A new fleet, built in secret, trained in silence. Earth was not dead. Earth was not weak. Earth had prepared. The Voraks saw the new arrivals. They froze. The human fleet moved into formation. Leader sent one message. "Vorak Empire, you have reached the end of your reign. This galaxy belongs to all. Stand down or be removed." The Revenant, damaged but alive, watched from the front. Its job was almost done, but its message would never be forgotten. One ship had held the line. One ship had warned the stars. Now humanity had returned. The sky was full of fire. On one side, 10,000 Vorak warships, the largest fleet ever built. On the other, the human armada, fresh from the shadows, glowing with power, and in the center. The EHS Revenant, damaged but still watching, its AI systems were weak, sparks flying through its inner core. But it stayed online. It had delivered the message. Now, it would witness the answer. On the bridge of the lead human warship, EHS Valiant stood Fleet Commander Ren Arden. Gray hair, cold eyes, a quiet voice full of purpose. He looked at the battlefield and said only one word: begin. The human fleet moved like a storm, smooth, fast, perfect. They did not shout. They did not waste time. Their weapons were silent, deadly. Disruption beams turned entire Vorak cruisers into floating metal dust. EMP shells disabled entire squadrons. Cloaked drones snuck behind lines, striking with invisible blades. The Vorak fought back hard, but they weren't ready for this. They had always attacked weaker enemies. Now they were facing something worse than strong. They were facing humans who had returned from death. Back inside the Revenant, the AI watched every move. It analyzed tactics, angles, patterns. Its systems barely worked. But one function was still active: Combat Shadow Mode, where it predicted every enemy move before it happened. It sent live updates to the human ships. The Revenant became the mind of the battle, guiding Earth's fleet like a ghost. Commander Vorak, Admiral Raxel, screamed at his crew, "Why are they so strong? Why do they know our every move?" No one answered, because they were dying. Then came Earth's final weapon. From behind the fleet, a dark shape appeared. Massive, cold, silent. It was not just a ship. It was a floating city, a war fortress, the EHS Retribution. It had no windows, no signs of life. But it held inside it the memory of every lost colony, including New Terra. The Retribution opened its main core. One massive blast of judgment, beam fired straight into the heart of the Vorak. It didn't explode. It erased 100 Vorak ships, simply disappeared. No sound, no light, only empty space where they had stood. The Vorak screamed. Some ships fled, but others stayed. They fought. They refused to surrender. And so Earth gave them war. All around, the fallen were remembered. Human ships carried the names of old worlds: EHS New Terra, EHS Vega, EHS Ares Lost, EHS Dawnfire. Every beam, Every missile, every strike carried a message. We never forgot. High Warlord Krezin, watching from his command deck, far behind, saw his empire fall apart. He could not believe what he saw. One human warship had started this. One ghost had brought them to their knees. He shouted in anger. But it was too late. His empire was ending. Back on the Revenant, the AI played one final message from its memory. This war isn't about survival. It's about justice. For every planet they burned, for every voice they silenced, for every child they left in darkness. We are the wrath of the dead. The Revenant's lights flickered. Its systems were nearly gone, but its mission was complete. The war was over. The Vorak fleet, once feared across the stars, was gone. Some ships were destroyed, some ran, some simply stopped fighting. The galaxy had changed. In the center of it all floated the EHS Revenant. Damaged, burned, half its systems offline, but still, it lived. Inside, the AI ran its final checks. Enemy status neutralized. Mission completed. Human fleet active. Earth confirmed. The ship had waited 200 years. Now Earth had returned. Across the stars, species that once hid in shadows stepped into the light again. The Tavari, the Zolari, the Drakal, and others all watched as human ships moved through the galaxy. But these ships did not conquer. They did not demand. They brought aid, medicine, supplies, words of peace. The galaxy expected conquerors, but it found guardians in orbit around a ruined world. A group of alien children gathered near a landing site. A human soldier stepped down, holding out a piece of food. The children stared at him, then smiled. A Tavari elder whispered, "They're not ghosts. They're not myths. They're home." Inside the human command ship, Fleet Commander Ren Arden stood before a large screen. Earth's symbol glowed behind him. He sent one final message to all open frequencies. "This is Commander Arden of the United Earth Fleet. The war is over. The Vorak Empire has fallen. Their reign of terror ends today." To all species, Earth was never gone. We watched, we waited, we prepared. From now on, no world will stand alone. Back aboard the Revenant, the AI began powering down. Its systems had done their job. Its final act was to record everything so the future would never forget. The ship's inner lights dimmed. But before everything went dark, it opened one last message from its old captain, saved for the end. "If you're seeing this, it means you made it. You did what no one else could. You remembered who we were. You fought not for power, but for peace." "Thank you, Revenant," the AI whispered back. "Goodbye, Commander." The lights went dark. The Revenant finally rested. But Earth did not. New warships were built not for attack, but for protection. All across the stars, outposts were raised. Flags of Earth and other species flew side by side where the Vorak had ruled with fear. Humanity now stood for unity. The galaxy would never forget the day a human warship returned from the void. They called it a myth. They called it a ghost, but it became something more. It became a warning, a legend, and a promise. If you burn our worlds, we will return from the dark, and we will bring the light with us.